Welcome to 12 Ounce Sports Radio and The Burn with Mitch Show. Here's your host, Mitch Bernstein.
And a good evening to everybody on this Tuesday, June the 15th. I am back for a week with my show here on 12 Ounce Sports Network. You're listening to The Burn with Mitch. I'm your host, Mitch Bernstein. And it's been an interesting week for me and for the sports world. And we'll get right to it. I'm glad you're here. We've got three guests. I'll tell you about who's coming in this evening, covering many different topics. So for me, real quickly, I have actually finished my full-time working career. Yes, that means I am retired. It sounds weird, but full-time work is no longer in the offing. I have an exit interview tomorrow, having a little dinner with some folks from the school I work at tomorrow, turning in my keys and my cards, my ID cards, and that is it. So it feels really weird. Won't really hit me until the end of August when I will usually report to work. So that's exciting. The bittersweet part was that I'm leaving a group of colleagues and students. You've heard me talk of Westtown School in Westchester, Pennsylvania, who are just phenomenal. So I'm shouting out all of those kids who graduated, all the kids who went through this pandemic-ridden year. Truly amazing. But most of all, the seniors who I wanted to give a little bit of recognition to because these kids are really awesome and special. Wanted to let you know the caliber of the students that we have going on to college and the colleges that they're going to. Just to name a few here, and it runs the gamut. School of Art Institute in Chicago, University of Pittsburgh, Goucher College, UNC Chapel Hill, Colgate University, Skidmore, Boston College, Drexel University, University of Chicago, Haverford, Davidson College. Let's see what else we got. Rhodes College, Johns Hopkins, Wellesley, West Virginia, University of Pennsylvania, Williams, Penn State, Swarthmore, Wesleyan and Vassar St. Lawrence, Dartmouth, Ohio State, Northeastern, Sarah Lawrence, United States Military Academy, Dartmouth, Franklin and Marshall, Bryn Mawr, Rochester Institute of Technology. I mean, these kids are going to great schools. Franklin and Marshall, UT, Austin, Georgetown, Virginia, Tampa, JMU, James Madison, Richmond, Syracuse, Purdue, Tufts. I mean, just a great UCLA. So just an amazing group of kids that I'm proud to have been associated with. So kudos to them. Kudos to my colleagues for helping them make it through these last year and a half. And happy to be able to shout them out. Another shout out before I get to my guests. We have a birthday today. Bob Kendrick, the president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum in Kansas City, Missouri, has a birthday. He probably has educated millions of people at this stage of the game about the Negro Leagues with passion, with excitement, and given us a lot of good baseball history. So shout out to Bob Kendrick on his birthday. Okay, let's get to the show. Our first guests, and I say guests because we have two coming in. The interim president of the National Baseball Hall of Fame, Jeff Idelson, and Jean Fruth. Jean Fruth is a Hall of Fame, is a sports photographer. She is traveling photographer for La Vida Baseball. And both of them obviously huge baseball fans. We're going to be talking about their organization they co-founded called Grassroots Baseball. We will also talk about the Baseball Hall of Fame with Jeff, and a little bit more with Jean about how she got into her sports photography career. So a lot of different topics with those two coming on. Looking forward to talking about grassroots baseball. I've got some questions for them about how we can improve the game. What has grassroots done so far, and what are their plans going forward in the future? That slot of guests will be followed by, at 6:55, Greg Larson. Greg Larson wrote a minor league memoir. The name of the memoir is called Clubby. Clubby is a term used in minor league baseball for the clubhouse attendant. Um, Greg began his career in baseball in 2000, I believe 11, 12, and was the clubhouse attendant for the Aberdeen Ironbirds for 2 years. And he began making some notes and made the notes turned into a book, and he calls it a memoir, and he's talking about what actually goes on in minor league baseball clubhouses. So should be interesting. Looking forward to hearing what he has to say about that. And then for the Sixers fans who are not feeling really well at this point after the loss last night here in the Philadelphia area where I am, we're going to talk to Big Twill, 34. Big Twill has been on the show before. He's going to give us his take about the loss last night, talk about Joel, talk about Ben Simmons, and what has to happen for them to win the next two games. Because I don't think they really want, at this stage of the game with Joel hurt, I don't think they want to go to 7. I think they want to win it in 6. Sold out Wells Fargo Center where the Sixers play tomorrow night here in Philadelphia. I want to get his thoughts about what has to happen in order for the Sixers to win the next two. Who wins the other Eastern Conference matchup? Who ends up winning the Western Conference, and who he thinks is going to be in the final. So that is our show for the evening. Stay with us. Again, we start with baseball and a couple of, I know, unique take on baseball with Jeff and Gene. Continuing with minor league baseball with Greg Larson, and then we go to the pro circuit with basketball and talk about the Sixers and the NBA playoffs. So that's our show. Hope you stick with us through all of it. Glad to be here. I want to now get into real quickly Major League Baseball and the new controversy. Seems like there's a controversy every other week in Major League Baseball, and the controversy surrounds, if you are familiar and a baseball fan, the old baseball doctoring issue. And I'm trying to figure out, I don't remember who, but one of my guests came on about 6 months ago and was talking about doctoring in baseball. It happens. It's been going on. And it's come to a head, and there are obviously different ways that Major League Baseball could have confronted the issue. They could have confronted it at the beginning of the season. They didn't, and now it's got to the point where now they have listed what happens if somebody is caught. Don't know what happens. What's it going to take for an umpire, here's the big question, to get out and check the ball and check the pitcher? What is that? What's going to preclude? What's going to offer that up? How is an umpire? Is that written in the rules? So an umpire has to deem some suspicion? I don't know. I haven't read enough about it yet. Just because a player, it used to be that the players back in the 70s and 80s, you obviously check the ball. Anytime a ball hit the dirt back then, it never was taken out of play. It automatically is now. A lot of folks we've read about in the last couple of days, they're using sunscreen. And it's all about getting the spin on the ball, upping that spin rate to make the ball do things that it, could do, shouldn't do. And here's the issue. To a degree, with that spin rate, with pitchers not having as much control these days, albeit some do, i.e. Jacob deGrom. He's in another category by himself, i.e. Zach Wheeler, same thing. Aaron Nola the other night. But these guys are throwing upwards of 95 on a regular basis, and it's gotten dangerous. And we've seen two guys get hit in the face: Kevin Pillar of the Mets and Bryce Harper, the Phillies. And I don't know that it's due to spin rate, but it's due to um, guys losing the ball, not having control, which then goes back to, I think, putting substances on the ball, trying to increase the spin rate, and they lose control. So that's my take. I don't know how true that is. It's going to be interesting to see how it all ends up turning out. Who's going to be the first one to be suspended, ejected from the game, and then suspended for 10 days. So that I read this afternoon. I'll put that down for Jeff. I'll ask Jeff what are his thoughts about this going forward, because he's been the Hall of Fame. He's been around for a while, and Jeff, I'm sure, has an opinion on, and so does Gene, about the